In 2021, 39 kids charged with shooting crimes in Cuyahoga County. And in 2022, the following year, that number jumped to 73. That is an 87% increase.
That's right. 19 investigator Kelly Kennedy discovered that even though juvenile crime is up, less kids are being sent to prison.
Tonight, she's looking into a state program that some believe could be the reason why.
So why juveniles have a license to kill is beyond us.
Joe Blesko and Danica Jankovic believe the judicial system is letting juvenile offenders off too easily.
That should at least the 2 years in jail, adult jail. That should have probably lost their license for the rest of their lives.
Their son and his girlfriend were killed by a pair of drag racing teenagers. The 16-year-old girl involved was placed on house arrest. Juvenile court records show she cut off her ankle monitor and went on the run.
Then she evaded capture and wasted police resources.
The teens took a plea, time in a group home, and suspended driver's licenses until they turned 21.
It's part of why juveniles have the courage to go do these kinds of things, because they think, oh, I'll be able to get out.
Elena D'Onofrio never dreamed she'd have a gun pointed in her face. And she definitely never imagined that the person with their finger on the trigger would be just 14 years old.
Were you afraid for your life?
Yes. You go into like adrenaline flight mode and yeah, do whatever you can to get away.
The number of juveniles charged with homicide increased by nearly 60% from 2021 to 2022. The number of juveniles charged with firing a gun into a home doubled. The increase in juvenile crime comes as Cleveland struggles to hire police. CPD is down 267 officers. I asked Cleveland Police Chief Wayne Drummond what he thinks.
But do you think that the shortage of officers is contributing at all to this rise in crime?
If you talk to some people, they'll say, yes, it's a direct correlation. Of course, I would like to have the full staffing because it gives us the ability to do a lot more. I just can't say, looking at you right now, because we have less officers, that's the reason why crime is rising. It's a variety of reasons.
Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Michael O'Malley believes Ohio's Reclaim program is one of them. It distributes $30 million every year to Ohio's juvenile courts. The program offers judges a financial incentive for sending juveniles to community-based programs instead of prison. The program launched in 1995, but in 2010, the state launched targeted reclaim funding. The funding goes to the counties with the highest number of juvenile justice admissions, which includes Cuyahoga. In order to actually get the additional funding, they had to drastically reduce their admissions. Well, in 2009, Cuyahoga County sent 293 kids to prison. By 2021, it was just 76.
If there was a financial consideration in sentencing adults, I think there would be a public outcry as to how inappropriate that is.
While there are exceptions for kids who commit crimes like murder and rape, armed robbery and shootings are not included. O'Malley believes that needs to change.
And when you keep letting kids out who are committing violent offenses, you're inevitably giving them the keys to a long prison sentence.
So what would it take to change the program? O'Malley believes the legislature would have to get involved. Coming up, we're headed to Columbus to find out. Reporting in Cleveland, Kelly Kennedy, 19 News.